Welcome back to Unforgettable Crafts. I'm Rebekah, your host and small business owner. We have a question that's come in from multiple different people in regards to what software we use for our small business. So, we'll probably end up having multiple part series to this because there's a lot of different software that we use, but this video is going to be in regards to inventory management. When I went through the process of researching inventory management and which one was the best for my business, it took me quite a few days and a lot of trial and practice and demoing the products to see which one worked best for me and how I like things set up. The disclaimer here is that this may not be the best choice for you, what I ended up choosing, and always do your research and see what's best for you. All right, let's get into it. So there's 3 different software processes that I looked at. The first one was Inventora. I heard about it a lot from other candle vendors, from crafters, from polymer clay vendors, and from crocheters. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a great platform. So that's actually where I started, my first place that I went to demo. And then I found another thing called Craftybase. And I learned about this through one of the other candle vendors on YouTube. So I started with Inventora, I moved on to Craftybase, and then I also looked at another platform called QuickBooks Inventory add-on. So you have to have QuickBooks in order to add on this inventory platform management process. So I wanted to talk about that one first because it's an add-on, so it's not its own software system, so you already have to be paying for QuickBooks. And if you're using QuickBooks, that's how we usually manage our finances through either our personal finances or our business finances. So I recently started using QuickBooks when I created our business into an LLC. When that happened, I was able to create my business bank account, and I wanted to make sure I was managing that properly and I had all of my receipts in one place. And QuickBooks allows you to make attachments of those receipts, so I have everything digitally available when taxes come around. So QuickBook Inventory is the add-on that you would use in addition to your regular finances. The QuickBook Inventory add-on currently is at $40 a month. That's in addition to your normal Simple Start QuickBooks, if that's one you're using, at $35 a month. And that only allows you to have one user. So you would be the only user of this at your small business. Now, this inventory system is very cut and dry and to the point. It allows you to enter your raw materials and your finished product. It allows you to track your quantities. It allows you to have stock alerts. It monitors your sales and your purchase orders and things like that. And it also randomly adds discounted shipping on labels. So that one's a little weird, but at the same time, if you didn't have a website, like I use Shopify as my main website, which I'll get into on another video, but they offer discounted shipping on labels already, so I didn't need that service. So moving on to Inventora. When I started playing with Inventora, I decided to start on the hobby, and that is free to use. It's very limited in what you can do. You can only add like 50 products, 50 manufactured items, and it's really great to play around and see if this is the right platform for you. Now, when you get into it, there's a lot of things you can't do, but they do have like a 14-day trial where you have more viewability into other things that you would be able to do at the higher levels of tiers. The next level tier is $23 a month, and the one after that is $39 a month. Now, I wanted to talk to you about the users. So sometimes you have a spouse that you might want to have access to this information when you're not at home, or you might have employees or interns that you might want to have access to this information as well. So inventory on the hobby, the free one, is 1 user. The next level up tier is 2 users, and then after that is 5 users. And there's more tiers after that, but to get you started, that's what you're looking at. Now with Inventora, the system is pretty simplistic to use. It's clean and crisp. But it has raw materials and your finished products, which is really nice to see where everything kind of aligns together. So it allows you to have your COGS, which is your cost of goods sold, and it calculates that for you as you're putting in your materials and the price that you paid for it, which is phenomenal. I love having that capability without having to create my own formula and sit there and do the math in my head, and then constantly having to update that throughout the years. So, costs ebb and flow, and so it could be you spent $3 on this item here, but then it went up to $5, then it went back down to $2, it was on sale, you got a 50% off discount. It manages that for you just because you put in those prices already. Now it does do the same thing as the QuickBooks inventory did, where it has the quantity tracking, the low stock alerts, it monitors from your sales orders, your purchase orders, and it also it monitors from your sales orders, purchase orders, and from your manufacturing. So whenever you're in this system, you're able to showcase the raw materials that went into the finished product. It integrates with multiple platforms such as Etsy, Wix, Shopify, things like that. It does have reporting and capabilities on how you can plan your production, the run dates, the due dates that you're wanting to do for that. And it also has inventory value reporting for your taxes. So basically what happens is whenever you're ready to run your taxes, you run this inventory value report so that you can see how much is in your business as an asset that hasn't been sold yet. So there are different limitations on each of the tiers as to how much product you can use on each one and how many materials you can upload as well. So you may end up having 100 product items, that may be the $23 a month, and then 500 product items, maybe the $39 a month. But make sure you do that research and see if that's what you're interested in and how much it's going to cost you over time when you think about the long term of your business, where you want to be in the next 2 to 5 years. How many products, how many materials are you going to want to add into that? And you can jump levels. So if you start off as free and that's just not enough for you anymore, you can tier your way up. It does have limited integration on the platforms on each tier as well. So just like the 1 user, 2 users, 5 users, you have the same type of thing with integration. So if you're on Etsy and you're on Shopify, you might want to go with tier 3, let's say, as an example, because it has 2 tiers that you could be, 2 integrations that you could use in that tier. So look at that, see which one's best for you. When I was playing with Inventora, this is my personal experience, when I was playing around in Inventora, I did not feel that it was intuitive for me enough. I didn't have the capabilities to erase things quickly, fix a problem where I accidentally clicked enter and then this product was here. I was having a lot of different trouble getting my stuff in there and aligned to where I needed it to be. So I do like to use YouTube, of course, as a resource where I can see how to use these platforms. So of course, if you're having trouble in the system when you're playing around with it, please look on YouTube for some free resources on how-to guides for that. All right, getting into Craftybase. So I was a little bit more nervous about this platform because it has a free 14-day-ish trial. I think it's actually 15 days trial that you can use and set it up and look around on it. It's limited in what your capabilities are able to do, so you can see how the tiers would affect you, which is really nice. But if you like it, after that 15 days, it doesn't have that free level. It has $24 a month is the first level. $49 a month. It goes up to $99 and beyond. There's more tiers after that. But every single tier has unlimited users on all the plans. So you can have 50 people that can get into your Craftybase if you have a lot of employees. Your spouse can get in here and be able to create a product per se. So going into what's available on this platform, the same type of situation as Inventora. It's very similar in nature to that. Like the raw materials, the finished product, it automatically calculates the COGS for you. It actually has an area at the bottom of each, it's called a recipe, which I'll tell you about that in a second. But each bottom of the recipe, it shows here's how much it's going to cost you to make the full batch. If there's 10 or 15 that you're making in a batch, versus this is how much it costs for one. This is what you are going to put it as your price. This is a recommended price that we're going to tell you. You should probably price it around here. Then it has retail price. Then it also has wholesale price. So if you're going into wholesale in the future, which you may not be ready for that as a small business owner, but you can see what that would cost and you can start looking into that. So very, very helpful for small business owners in that aspect of being able to kind of forecast the future. It also auto updates with your sales orders, with your purchase orders, etc. It honestly is the same type of thing as the other two with the quantity tracking, the low stock alerts. It monitors for your sales. It updates your inventory in there. There's this thing that I was going to tell you about, the recipes. So that's your manufacturing tab over here is your manufacturing tab. And inside of that, you use your recipes to create those products. So when you're creating your product, you put in all the different items that you're going to use, including things like your labels, tissue paper, whatever it is that goes in each one of your items. So let's say I'm a crocheter. I use 0.5 of a yard of white, and then I use a whole skein of blue. I can put all of those different pieces in there, as well as the packaging I'm going to put the item into, the boxing, the shipping, the labels that I use, all of that. So I can see my full COGS, which is cost of goods sold again, and I can see all of that and how it's going to affect me. Well, when I go in and I make my manufacturing order, say I want to make 15 candles. So I'll put in that I need 15. It'll make that recipe print out for me where I can literally print it out, take it over to my area where I'm going to make this, and I can see all of the different amounts that I need to be in one area to create those 15 candles, which is phenomenal. And it also has all the reporting and the planning production runs and those functions. It has the inventory value report for your taxes as well. It has unlimited products and materials on all tiers. So instead of where Inventora had this 50 capability in the free, 100 in the second tier, I think it was 500 or something like that in the third tier, all of Craftybase is unlimited products and materials. You can put however many you want with as many users as you want, which is when I decided, yes, I really like this product. So I went with Craftybase. One of the new things that they've recently done is they've opened up unlimited integration on the platforms that they have connected to it. And so that's unlimited integration, so you're not paying on each tier 1, 2, 3 again. And they also have this thing called batch and lot tracking. So when I make a batch of candles, I can actually create a batch and name it a lot number, and I can tell that I sold this candle from this batch and its expiration date would be a year from now. Or I know that it's starting to go on the older scale and I need to get that out and in front of my customer as soon as possible to get it off my shelves to replace it with something new, which is phenomenal. So again, I chose Craftybase as my personal choice after I did a lot of research and I played in 2 of these products. I did not play with the QB Inventory add-on, but I did do Inventora and I did do Craftybase. So again, this is part of our first portion of the software that we use and how we got to where we are today and why I chose what I did. please check out Craftybase and please check out Inventora. If you're interested in QuickBooks inventory as a quick, easy to use system that's not going to give you a lot of the extra functionality, you could start there as well. No choice is the wrong choice. It's what's best for you and your small business. Please feel free to leave comments below. Which process or product do you use? Do you use a spreadsheet right now? What is it that you are working through your inventory with? How are you managing it? I would love to hear. Also, please check out our website, www.unforgettablecrafts.store. Look around on there. We have a lot of events coming up. We have a big event coming up November 23rd, 22nd and 23rd, I think, is that Saturday, Sunday. It's a 2-day event. I'm really nervous about that one, but super excited to go and see how it goes. And that will be at Vero Beach at the Indian River Fairgrounds. If you're a Floridian, come on by and say hi. We look forward to seeing you in the future, and we wish you a phenomenal rest of your day.